According to the National Council of Crime and Delinquency, the U.S. incarcerates the largest number of people in the world. The only nation that comes close is the USSR during Soviet rule in Russia. To find the root of this problem, we must look at the very base of the prison system in America, which is punishment ideology. It has been found that in nations that value reform over punishment, incarceration rates are significantly lower. In this speech, we will examine both what punishment based prisons are as well as reform based prisons and examine how they affect incarceration rates. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, with an incarceration rate of 5 to 10 times that of other Western democracies, the United States has less than 5% of the world's population. But our country's prisoners account for 1/4 of the global prison population. The union goes on to say that the total number of people incarcerated is now surpassing 2.3 million. Since 1970, the U.S. prison population has risen 700%, a rate that far outpaces that of the general U.S. population and crime rates. While there are many factors that cause high incarceration rates, such as racial bias and the presence of the crime circle, the very root of the issue stems from the ideology of a prison. U.S. prisons are built on the foundation of punishing those who are imprisoned in an attempt to deter crime. However, punishment ideology has proved time and time again that it simply does not work in prisons, and our negligence of this issue has created a massive problem. Now you know the U.S. prison ideology, let's examine a reform based prison. Reform based prisons seek to reform an inmate so that they are able to get back on their feet in society as soon as they are released, thus setting them up for an honest and profitable lifestyle, making them far more likely never to return to crime. Norway is a very good example of a reform based prison country. In order to find out more about their prison and its attempts to restore inmates, I emailed Bredvit, a Norwegian women's prison. They were kind enough to provide me with a slideshow that they had also given to the New York City Correctional Leadership Delegation. From this, I discovered in their prison they have women who have committed all types of offenses and received all types of sentences. The values they hold highest are openness, respect, commitment, and their ultimate goal is always reintegration into society. Thus, many women who go into the prison are able to start an honest life and never return to crime. Now let's compare the two systems and find why the ideology affects prison incarceration. The system described in the PowerPoint Bredvit provided shows the steps Norway takes in order to truly help and reform prisoners, which lowers risk of recidivism astronomically. While in the US, according to the High Commissioner for Human Rights, 1 out of every 4 Americans has a criminal record, which can impose tremendous obstacles to finding employment, securing loans, and obtaining housing. This causes many inmates to reoffend over and over again, thus greatly increasing incarceration rates. Many hold reservations about comparing the US and Norway due to Norway's smaller population and overall smaller size. However, according to the Washington Post, Norway has only a tenth of the American prison population relative to the country's population size, thus proving that Norway is running its prisons better than the US, and the most prominent reason being its ideology. The punishment ideology causes inmates to reoffend, thus greatly increasing the incarceration rates, while the reform ideology seeks to reintegrate inmates, thus keeping the incarceration rates low. In the US, everyone knows someone who has been affected by the prison system. Whether it has affected us personally or affected a close relative, thousands of innocent lives are being permanently damaged by the US prison system, and it all begins with the ideology it is based on.